I know this movie came out back in January and everyone and their mothers have already made a review of it. But I just saw it today and want to make a record of what I thought about it, because The Grudge is by far the worst film of 2020. And although it is still April, I have seen quite a few contenders for the prize of worst movie of the year. But The Grudge is the one that best fits that category, now that I have seen it. This movie is so badly directed and structured, it has entire scenes that feel like they belong in a B-movie, like Pandemic. The amount of bad acting this film contains is astonishing, considering that most of the actors are relatively well known. It's the ones that I have never seen before. They deliver performances that make you question how the hell did they get the job in the first place. Maybe they were friends of the director or one of the producers, because I doubt their acting abilities were enough to win them the part. Although, now that I think about it, everything else from the story to the horror was also pretty bad. So there is a chance the actors were indeed chosen by their lack of talent. One of the first things you notice right when the film begins is its complete lack of trying to be a real film. The dialogue is unapologetic in its exposition. It's not trying to give the impression that the lines of dialogue are things people would actually say to each other. It's just generic information about the character's background and the story the film is trying to tell. And both the characters and the story are complete garbage. The movie jumps from narrative to narrative in such a way that I was left wondering if there was actually something connecting each of the stories together besides the ghost and the mediocre atmosphere. It was honestly mind-boggling how anyone was supposed to follow the tedious, exhausting clusterfuck they put together in the editing room. It goes from story A to story B, then to story C, jump back to story A, then begin story D, return to story C, and end with story F. And 20 minutes later or so, the movie remembers that some of the stories weren't properly concluded, so it tries to give them some sort of conclusion. And all this jumping around wouldn't be so much of an issue if the characters were remotely interesting, instead of being blank pieces of nothingness, or if the scary things that happened to them were well presented. All the horror elements this film has to offer are complete and utter trash. There was nothing but cheap jump scares, and there's nothing impressive in fading out the sound and then cutting away to someone in a zombie makeup screaming or doing something eerie just to freak out the audience. That's the sole goal this movie seemed to have. It wasn't trying to tell a scary story with compelling characters. It wasn't trying to show you the talent of the people who worked on the film. It was just throwing shit at the wall in the hopes they might make some money back. And of course it made money with a budget like this. The best part of the film is the credit sequence. It's drastically different from everything that preceded. That tone is so unlike the rest of the film, it gives the impression that what came before was some sort of award-winning independent movie. Unfortunately, that was not the case. I'm giving The Grudge a 1 out of 10. It's a massive pile of horseshit with nothing remotely competent or amusing about it. It makes Birds of Prey look decent in comparison. Don't see this movie, you won't lose anything. On the contrary, your life will be better off without seeing this film. Anyway, see you next time.